This isn't a regular episode. There's no storytelling, no framing, just a voice from the past, trying to tell us the truth. What you're about to hear is a recovered tape from Dr. Michael Kessler. It's labeled simply, Kessler, Core Notes, Veil Model. I found it in a sealed envelope marked only with a symbol. I've seen it before. In dreams, and in the Project Silhouette documents. A spiral intersected by a vertical line. This recording is different from the others. There's no assistant, no protocol. Just Kessler, alone, speaking into a recorder, like he knew this might be the last time he'd be able to say these things freely. Here it is, the Kessler tape.
If you're hearing this, you probably already encountered pieces of the pattern, symbols that recur, impossible geometry in your dreams, time slipping out of sequence, a shadow you don't remember seeing, but always feel watching. This is not paranoia. You are perceiving through the veil. The veil is not metaphor. It's not folklore. It is a structure, a cognitive topology layered between perceived reality and true ontological states, a liminal filter of perception. The scientific definition we've settled on within Project Silhouette is the veil is a semi-conscious metaphysical field modulating perceptual and symbolic access to extra-symbolic cognitive strata, complex informational domains which cannot be accessed through conventional language or logic but are essential to the true structure of consciousness and reality. The veil is reactive, not passive. It regulates, it corrects, and when pierced through dream trauma, trauma recursion, liminal entheogenic states, it does not tear, it responds. Some would call it a membrane, a filter. I call it a cage. What lies behind it is not simply a truer world, but a more dangerous one, a domain that precedes our universe, a place not bound by time or form. It's important to understand what we perceive as the world is a curated narrative. The veil is not a wall. It's a translator, a censor, a jailer. Beneath it or beyond it are signals our minds cannot process directly. They come through as symbols, geometry, archetypes. My team encountered structures that defy dimension, spirals folded inside tetrahedrons, static lattices built from impossible numbers, a self-replicating glyph we named the Aura Vector that seemed to grow deeper the longer we stared at it. These aren't hallucinations, they're constructive interference events, points where true cognition bleeds through and clashes with imposed perception. These symbols serve two functions, one as traps for the unprepared mind, two as breadcrumbs for those who are ready. And that's what scares them. The veil is maintained by three known categories of entities. The Wardens, enforcers of the illusion. When someone perceives too clearly, dreams too vividly, or breaks too many patterns, the Wardens are dispatched. They do not speak, they correct. Their presence induces dread, paralysis, recursive memory loops. They do not stop. The Watchers, passive recorders, observers who track perception thresholds, their gaze marks you. They do not act until the signal breaches containment parameters. Many who see them believe they are being chosen, but no, they are being logged. The mirrors, the most elusive, they don't appear as entities, but as reflections of yourself, your fears, memories, identities. They are interfaces between your mind and the false environment. Many who interact with them lose the distinction between inner and outer reality. These entities are not aliens. They are not from another planet. They are older. They are foundational. They are what I've come to call the Warden class architects. They do not exist within our universe. We exist within theirs. We found traces, data bleed, failed memories, voice signatures in impossible frequencies. We called it the Archon layer, no direct contact, only symptoms, collapsing time, missing cognition, recursive loops that don't end, not an entity, not in the way we understand minds. These are governing intentions. The veil is its mechanism, the entities are its immune system. Why? Because unfiltered human consciousness is dangerous. It destabilizes, it reveals, it creates. We are locked inside a containment system built to prevent us from remembering what we are. The veil is not just censorship, it is suppression, and those who see past it, who pass through it, become anomalies. That's why I didn't want to run, I wanted to fight. That's why I created Project Silhouette. We studied survivors, those who saw the veil and came back. We trained candidates to move undetected. We developed cloaking rituals, memory anchor schemas, recursive loop stabilization. Some succeeded, others disappeared. One of the best was Lena Harper. She pierced Tier 3. For 3 days she spoke only in a language no one taught her, symbols encoded in breath, geometry woven into syntax. Then she vanished. She stepped beyond. She left behind one word, architects. We don't know who or what it is, but I believe it resides outside the recursion, beyond even the archons, the original warden, or the first prisoner. If you're dreaming in symbols, if you see structures inside your eyelids before you sleep, if time skips, fractures, if people forget your name while looking you in the eye, they know the veil's purpose is not simply deception, it is containment, a prison, not of matter, but of consciousness. Humanity is quarantined within an artificially stabilized dream state. Our myths, religions, archetypes, they are part of the design, story loops to maintain cognitive resonance with the cage's frequency. I call this recursive trap, the dream loop. Each night the mind detaches from the consensual illusion, drifting toward deeper awareness, and each time the loop activates, dreams become symbolic chains, familiar strangers, rooms that never end, forgotten awakenings. Dreams are not messages from the unconscious. They are surveillance events. They monitor deviation. They reset the sleepers. There are those, rarely, who dream beyond the loop, who remember too much, who bring symbols back into waking life. These people often suffer night terrors, hallucinations, schizoid breaks. We call them boundary disruptors. Project Silhouette, my last effort before they shut us down, attempted to find, protect, and train these individuals, not to simply evade the entities, but to fight back, to cloak cognition, yes, but also to break the cycle, to confront what lies beyond the veil and push it back. We developed protocols, mnemonic anchors to survive veil penetration, threshold lensing devices to stabilize passage, symbolic entropy generators to disrupt recursive tracking. Some succeeded, others were taken, and some simply vanished. I'll add more details on the protocols we developed at Project Silhouette, neurocognitive cloaking systems. These systems manipulate the subject's neural oscillations, particularly in theta and gamma bands, using entrainment pulses or resonance masks. The goal is to mimic the baseline cognitive signatures of non-anomalous humans, effectively camouflaging the mind from detection by watchers and wardens. Preliminary success was achieved with synchronized binaural interference patterns and deep lattice stimulation of the reticular formation, allowing veil traversal with reduced resonance feedback. Perceptual noise injection. By injecting semiotic static, meaningless symbolic overlays, or distorted archetypal cues into the subject's perceptual feed, my team learned to obfuscate conscious narrative structure. This helped avoid pattern lock detection by mirror-class entities who identify and exploit recurring symbol sets. In trials, subjects reported dreaming out of phase or experiencing memory artifacts unrelated to personal history, a sign of successful noise blending. Recursive masking protocols, developed after incidents of immediate warden response during lucid veil penetration attempts. These protocols synchronize a subject's psychic emissions with mass consciousness background fields. The subject's presence becomes statistically indistinguishable from the collective psychic noise of humanity. It's the equivalent of hiding a signal inside static, what I called the murmur of sleepwalkers. symbolic entropy modulation. The veil reacts most strongly to known archetypes: eyes, spirals, mirrors, thrones. These are trigger glyphs optimized for recursion capture. This protocol introduces symbolic drift, fragmentation, reassembly, semantic inversion. A serpent becomes a waveform, a mirror becomes a portal without reflection. This process breaks the recognizability threshold and helps the subject slip past filters that target encoded meaning. Dimensional echo minimization. During veil-fragile states, hypnagogia, microsleeps, near death, cognitive echoes can destabilize the boundary. This protocol adjusts the trajectory and velocity of dream loops, ensuring they do not intersect with previously traversed or entity-occupied memory strata. Subjects are threaded through virgin dream corridors using nonlinear time mapping and pre-loop veil harmonics. Phase displacement exposure chambers. These are sealed, EM-shielded environments constructed to simulate veil-adjacent cognitive states through sensory deprivation, symbolic immersion, and time disruption fields. Within these chambers, subjects undergo staged symbolic confrontations and exposure to recursive logic without full veil breach. I believed controlled exposure could inoculate the psyche. Mnemonic anchor implantation. Subjects too often return from veil contact confused, broken, or with false memories. Anchor protocols use linguistic sigils, geometric phrase keys, or multisensory memory constructs embedded prior to exposure. These anchors act like a psychic breadcrumb trail, allowing the mind to reassemble identity post-contact and, more importantly, avoid falling into recursive loops. Threshold lensing devices. Originally derived from failed veil capture lenses, these were repurposed to focus non-linear information strata and allow filtered observation without full exposure. When calibrated correctly, they allow subjects to interface with the surface structures of truth, glimpses of the architect layer, without alerting entities. Use of these devices is highly restricted due to several incidents of sudden catatonia. Remember, the more you see the cage, the more the cage sees you. And I have no proof of liberation, only fragments. But I've seen the edges. Beyond the veil, reality twists, language breaks down, time loops and inverts. There are structures there, vast intelligent geometries, symbols that generate emotion, architecture that knows your name. Some say it is hell, others say it is the true world, and this one is the lie. I no longer care, I only want the truth. If you are hearing this, you may already be marked, or you may be awakening. I cannot tell you which is worse, but know this: the Wardens cannot see you if you forget yourself. The mirrors cannot break you if you doubt your reflection. And the Watchers cannot track you if you change the story. This is the only weapon we have. Change the story.
I listened to that tape 3 times before I could speak again. It doesn't feel like something he said. It feels like something he left inside me. Like a key, or maybe a virus. I'm not sure which. He sounded tired, resigned maybe, but also alive in a way I hadn't heard in the other recordings. Like part of him still believed we could fight this, that if someone heard the truth, if someone remembered, it might be enough. But the truth comes with a price. Since playing this tape, I haven't slept. Or maybe I have, but something else is sleeping in me. There are moments I lose time. Objects in my apartment, subtly moved, a face in the mirror that isn't quite mine, and I'm scared. Not just for me, for you. Because if you've made it this far, if you listen to that whole recording, the veil may have already noticed you. Maybe that's why I hesitated to release this. Why it sat in my hands, weeks after I found it. Kessler wanted us to know. But maybe he also wanted to warn us. He believed we were caged, that someone built this illusion to keep us from remembering who we are. And the moment we start to see through it, we become threats, anomalies, errors, targets. So now I'm left with this choice. Do I stop here? Protect whoever's still listening from going any further? or do I keep going? Because if Kessler was right, if our minds are prisons and our dreams are patrol routes, then maybe the only way out is straight through. Just promise me something. If they come for you, if you start to see the patterns or the eyes in the corner of the room, or the mirror stops following you, don't trust your memory. Don't trust your name. Trust the symbols, trust the cracks, follow the spiral. I'll be here for as long as I can.